Play that funky music, white boy. That was the song that greeted me in the exact moment that I sat down to find the stillness. The music rattled the floor, rumbled the walls, in that exact moment that I sat down to begin my late night meditation one night. I was on a cruise in the middle of the Caribbean, and my room, my stateroom as they call it on cruises, happened to be right above the late night lounge and dance disco that started up the party at 11:30 p.m. The incongruity of it all made me laugh, of course. But it also led to some musings that I wanted to share with you this morning as we explore the balance between focusing within and giving our attention to the outside world and the noise and the static that pulls our attention away. In any given moment, where is our attention focused? And where is it that we find happiness, meaning, and purpose? Before we explore those questions in more depth, I want to tell you a little bit more about this cruise I went on. So last fall, I was blessed with the honor of leading laughter yoga classes for a group on board a Caribbean cruise. So I'd never been on a cruise before. This was my first time on one of those big ships, and I was really curious what that would be like to be on a floating city in the middle of the ocean. What fascinated me most about this cruise was the logistics involved in managing thousands of people in a very structured way. Everything is extremely well organized on a cruise to ensure that the long lines of people boarding and disembarking the ship keep flowing very smoothly. Now, inside the ship, there were 12 floors. On the top floor of the ship, there was a basketball court, a swimming pool, a hot tub, a water slide, a jogging track, and even a mini golf course. Next to that, there was an enormous food buffet, including the quintessential midnight buffet. And there were rows and rows of reclining deck chairs out in the sun, all lined up to face a giant movie theater-sized television screen. This screen showed news footage by day and movies at night, so that you could never be out of touch with what was happening. In the middle of the ship, there were lounges and dance clubs. There were sports bars, piano bars, and sushi bars. There was a casino, a spa, a salon, and a shopping mall that had jewelry and souvenirs and much more. The marble floors sparkled in the glamorous lighting. The glass-walled elevators gave you a bird's-eye view of the luxurious interior of the ship, and all of the decor created a feeling of elegance and opulence. The staff of 1,000 crew members was there to wait upon your every desire. From the moment you pulled up at the curb at the port, the crew members took your luggage so that you never had to lift a finger the rest of the time you were there. Room service visited your room no less than 4 times a day to tidy up the room and add extra touches like bath towels folded into origami animals, leaving chocolates on your pillow with the evening turn-down service. The wait staff at the evening meal unfolded your napkin and put it in your lap for you. The ship activities director prepared endless options for your amusement. There were dance classes and bingo games and comedy shows. Upbeat music pulsed throughout the ship from all the different entertainment centers where you could go do karaoke, go dancing, or watch a stage show. And of course, there was the food. Every option there was imaginable. You could have a simple lunch at the New York-style deli, or you could order stir-fry from the Mongolian wok. You could have a made-to-order omelet from the omelet bar, or you could go into the glamorous, glitzy dining room to have New England crab cakes, broiled Maine lobster, tender prime rib, molten chocolate cakes, Wines, cheeses, anything you wanted. In the morning, you could go down to the European cafe and get pastries and cappuccino, or you could order ice cream and pizza delivered to your room. Every whim was catered to. Now, of course, I'm a perpetual student in this schoolroom of life, and I just couldn't help but observe this entire environment with fascination and deep curiosity. Here was an entire ship, more than 3 football fields long, and the entire thing is devoted totally to the pursuit of happiness and pleasure. The attention to detail was absolutely astounding. No opportunity was missed to create the conditions in which you'd feel pampered, special, and entertained in royal fashion. The whole atmosphere was very thoroughly designed to eliminate any possible source of stress, uncertainty, or discomfort. And of course, isn't that the point of a vacation? Certainly the whole cruise industry is built around the premise that we go on a vacation to get away from it all, to leave the ordinary world behind, to escape stress, challenges, and discord. Well, we go have some fun. There were certainly plenty of opportunities for fun on this ship. It was literally a floating city. Thousands of people condensed into a small space that was filled with restaurants, nightclubs, shopping, and movie theaters. So it was very easy to forget that we were out in the middle of the ocean. Below us, the vast waters extended for miles, teeming with marine wildlife that was as oblivious to our presence as we were to theirs. While we jogged around the jogging track 11 stories above sea level, sharks and seahorses swam in circles 11 stories below the ship. While we drizzled butter on plates of broiled Maine lobster in the dining room up above, spiny lobsters and hermit crabs scuttled through the darkness far below, dining on their own delicate dinners on the sandy bottom. While we danced to the smooth rhythms of the jazz lounge up above, tiny trumpet fish fluttered around the colorful algae and coral reefs not far away. Angelfish and lionfish, barracudas and barnacles, sea stars and sea turtles all floated through the blue abyss, feasting on their own midnight buffets, dancing their own dances in the symphony of sea sounds. Floating in the middle of the ocean, the cruise ship afforded me an opportunity to gaze out on the endless blue horizon and contemplate my place in the cosmos, to reflect upon the countless species swimming just out of sight below those waves, and contemplate my relationship with nature. And yet the pull of those ship's activities tried to lure everyone's attention back into the ship, keeping the focus on everything from karaoke to the giant movie screen on the top deck. Late at night, when the movie screen had gone totally dark and most of the guests had gone in to dance in one of the many nightclubs, I'd go up to the very top deck, find a quiet spot in the middle of the mini golf course, and gaze out upon the endless darkness, listening to the hum of the engine and the splashing waves down below, watching the stars twinkling above the glittering lights of our seagoing city. While casino goers focused their playful efforts on the blackjack table inside, I imagined the playful spirit of sea life arising, perhaps as dolphins splashing in our wake, or seabirds riding the thermals created by the exhaust of our ship. I couldn't see either dolphins or seabirds in the darkness of night, but their presence in my imagination nurtured a feeling of deep connection within me, a connectedness with nature that has long been the source of deep joy for me. As I pondered all of these things within the broader context of the universal search for happiness, it struck me that the cruise ship environment could be an apt metaphor for life. Our attention is constantly pulled outward into the world of doing and achieving and acting and accomplishing and caregiving and struggling and being so busy that we don't pause to look at the big picture. We don't take time to reflect upon our place in the broader whole. Even when we get to relax and unwind, often our attention is pulled towards some outside stimulus, watching TV, going to a movie, socializing, playing games, engaging with other people. Our focus is almost continually fixed upon this unfolding events on the stage of life. And it's very easy then for this focus to unwittingly perpetuate the belief that our happiness depends upon those conditions and the unfolding events. Let's revisit that cruise ship as an example. The cruise experience is intended to create exactly the circumstances you would need in order to find relief from the pressures of the outside world. All of your physical needs are met in excess. You have everything you could possibly need and much more. And everything is provided by smiling crew members whose very purpose is to make sure that you feel good and have a good time. All of the activities are a perfect distraction to help you forget your worries and focus on having fun. And it's obviously very effective. Cruises are extremely popular, and there's a great demand for this type of environment. And it's good. We need those types of getaways to get away from it all. But when we look at it another way, we can see that a vacation or a cruise is simply replacing one set of circumstances with another. We extract ourselves from one setting, our daily life, and we plunk ourselves down in another setting, in this case, a cruise ship. And we allow that setting to draw forth the feelings of pleasure and happiness from us. This is useful and helpful for relieving stress, feeling good in the short term. And it's good. I'm certainly not discouraging anyone from going on a cruise. But I want to point out that as a long-term strategy for finding lasting happiness, relying upon external circumstances is a very risky strategy. There's always inevitably going to be something or someone that triggers a feeling of discontent, discord, suffering. And then we go to great lengths to try to create the conditions in which that person will never say that type of thing again. This person won't ever hurt our feelings. This type of event won't ever disrupt our feeling of contentment. Trying to control all of the circumstances and variables of the external world is a lot of work. It's exhausting. It's like trying to build a cruise ship single-handedly to ensure that the entire environment removes any possibility of suffering. We can maneuver and orchestrate the outside world to make things more convenient, make things more comfortable, for sure. But ultimately, our peace and joy can only come from within. So what can we do to break this cycle of focusing on the outside world, getting caught in that unintentional assumption that happiness depends upon all of the circumstances going our way? Let's return now to that thumping music of the dance lounge in the exact moment that I sat down to meditate. The floor began to vibrate, the volume cranked up, and what did I do? I laughed. I laughed because I'd been looking all over that ship for the perfect place where I could get some peace and quiet and sit down and have a minute of stillness to meditate. And in the exact moment I found it, those perfect conditions exploded into a festival of funky dance music. I laugh because the universe has a delightful sense of humor. And the synchronistic timing of this event seemed particularly funny to me. I laugh because I know that my joy is independent of external circumstances. And I laugh because I got another chance to demonstrate this to myself yet again. I laugh because laughter immediately dissolves the belief that there's anything wrong with the present moment. And it's this fixation on what's wrong that keeps us locked in our prison of stress and discontent. I laughed because in the big scheme of things, the sound of loud music accompanying my meditation is not a big deal. But because I practice laughing about the little things, it becomes that much easier to relax and maintain perspective when facing the big challenges in life. And I laughed because the circumstances of that moment seemed to so perfectly illustrate the great cosmic joke. Our attention is so easily distracted by everything out there when it turns out the source of everything we're really looking for is in here. The joy, the happiness, the peace we really yearn for can only come by connecting with the deepest part of ourselves. And from that place, connecting with other people, connecting with nature. So what does that mean to establish a deeper connection with ourselves? Well, one way of doing this is just temporarily withdrawing our attention from the dramatic unfolding events on the stage of life, bringing our focus inward, connecting with that center of joy that's at our core. This might look as simple as finding a quiet spot to sit in the middle of a mini golf course at night. Opening your mind in a state of genuine wonder. You could even ask the big questions. Who am I? What is at my center? Is there joy there? What is my true nature? And then pause and listen for the answers. If you don't hear anything, that's okay. You can laugh in the seemingly inability to know the answer. Who am I? I have no idea. It doesn't have to be a serious pursuit like we so often make it. Laughing at our not knowing is an answer in itself. In fact, let's just feel how good that feels. Let's try it together. We're just going to say the words, I have no idea, ha, 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 and then allow ourselves to laugh, okay? Here we go. I have no idea. And now breathe. You relax into not knowing anything. And that is where the beauty of your true self can be found, beneath all the layers of knowing anything about anything. Total relaxation allows clarity, peace, and joy to emerge spontaneously. You could do this anytime you're feeling pulled into feeling stressed about what to do. Let yourself not know for a moment. And then you discover there's a part of yourself that already knows. What should I do? I have no idea. The more you practice this, the more you discover that the answers are always already within you. When you're able to relax and let them be heard. What would be the right choice here? You could feel the tension starting to build. The tension's always based on a fear that there's a wrong choice, that you might get it wrong. You can let yourself uncoil that tension by simply letting yourself not know. What should I do? I have no idea. And then breathe into that body sensation of relaxing and not knowing. And now from that space, you could feel, between these two choices, I'm feeling that this one has a stronger pull than this one. clarity arises. The world is full of events and situations that pull for our attention. We care for our families, we socialize with our friends, we make a living, we help the less fortunate, we save the whales, we make a positive difference in the world, all while fixing dinner, putting gas in the car, making sure we are on top of dental visits, paying the bills, checking our email, and finding time for some fun. It's really easy to get spread too thin and forget just to tune in to ourselves. Stop for just a moment. Breathe. Smile. Relax. Who am I? What is the source of all of this care and service to others and action and busyness and doing? I have no idea. Breathe. Ah, there it is. Just a whiff of your truest, deepest self. The one that's constant and clear, no matter what's happening in the whirlwind of events around you. This is your center of joy, your tank of happiness. Even if you can't feel it the first time or the first few times, just keep at it. It will emerge. In the words of 13th century Persian poet Rumi, he said, "Keep knocking, and the joy inside will eventually open a window and look out to see who's there." The words, ha, 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 are the sound of the knocks that will invite your joy to come out and play. At this time in history, so many people are feeling pulled to make a positive difference in the world, to be actively engaged in solving the many problems we see in our community, our society, and on the planet. We want to fix up the cruise ship we call Earth so that every one of us can enjoy the ride. But ultimately, this is one remodel that can't totally be done from the outside in. We've got to start from within. Connect with the clear, constant center of harmony, peace, and joy that's always within ourselves so that we can be most effective in remodeling the outside. When we connect with that deepest part of ourselves, the part that's already connected to all that is, then our actions in the outside world are guided by this connection. Our interactions, our relationships can be more harmonious. Our actions can have even a greater positive ripple effect throughout the world. When we connect to that deepest part of ourselves and relax into the knowing of who we really are, we can experience this whole planet as a cruise ship. Keep knocking. Ha, ha, ha. Your joy is in there. It's always within you, in every moment, and it's ready to come out and play.